Hi, everyone, and welcome to Page Valley Living, episode 112. We're here today on Main Street in Luray in the offices of Choices, the Council on Domestic Violence for Page County. We're going to be talking with Lisa Herbaugh, the Executive Director, and Kelly Swartzlander, the Chairman of the Board of Directors for this organization that helps women of sexual assault and abuse and domestic violence. They provide a great service here in our county, and we're going to talk about all of the things they do, the programs they provide, the services they provide, but also we want to focus in our second segment about their upcoming third annual gala, and that's going to be Denim and Diamonds, held out at Big Oak Manor and Ranch on Big Oak Road in Luray, and that's coming up April 17th. Tickets are still available, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, we're going to tell you about that and more coming up, all the activities, including a silent auction that's going to be held on that big night on Friday night, April 17th. And tell you again about all of the great services that this organization provides as well. We're going to talk about all that more when we come back in a moment after a word from our sponsor. At Luray Caverns, you can hear music of symphonic quality from ancient stone formations on the great stalacpipe organ, the largest musical instrument in the world, only at Luray Caverns. Visit them online at luraycaverns.com to plan your trip today. Welcome back, everyone, to episode 112 of Page Valley Living. We're here today in the Choices headquarters on Main Street in Luray, and we're going to tell you a lot about the organization. First, I want to thank Lisa Herbaugh, the Executive Director, and Kelly Swartzlander, the Chair of the Board of Directors, for being with us here today. Thank you for your time very much.
Thank you
so
for
much.
inviting us.
Absolutely. Because we want to promote this big event coming up. We're going to make a lot of money. This is the big fundraiser of the year for Choices, but we don't want to give away all the details yet. We're going to talk about that in our second segment. As we said before, Choices does provide services for women of domestic violence, and we all want to note our pens right now. This is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and that is what our pens represent. And that is also the women that they help here who have suffered from that. I wanted to talk about first, how many folks might you serve in, say, a month or in a year?
Well, we run on a state fiscal year, so from July 1st till June 30th. And last year we answered 646 hotline calls. We housed in emergency shelter 76 adults and 46 children. And that equals 3,815 bed nights of shelter provided.
Wow.
We also provided 3 adults and 2 children in our transitional housing program. Emergency shelter is just that, it's very time limited, but transitional housing can be for up to a year of services for people who have significant barriers to housing. They may need employment, they may need transportation, they may need a driver's license, they may need a job, they may have poor credit. So that cannot be fixed in 30, 60, 90 days. So we've started that program and have housed 298 bed nights in that in the last year.
Wow.
I like to describe, we do the sheltering portion, but we also are providing more services in our community-based services.
Right,
And those
okay.
services include licensed counseling. We have a licensed clinical social worker on staff. We're adding a psychoeducational section to our services, which will be more educationally focused, such as healthy boundaries, red flags to look for in relationships, grounding techniques. And so that'll be for those who might not be ready to do some intensive therapy,
Right.
but could still use a few tools in their toolboxes to keep themselves safe.
Right.
We're going to do an actual support group with our licensed therapist, and that's going to be called Seeds of Strength.
Seeds of Strength.
And
okay.
that will be starting on July 1st. And then on July 6th, we're going to start an educational group called Healing Trauma that will run for 6 weeks. And I'm going to just say it's by Stephanie Covington, who I grew up with as the trauma-informed guru.
Right,
So
okay.
I'm very excited for that group to start as well. We're going to offer bilingual services.
Oh, wow.
We do
Okay.
court accompaniment and advocacy. So if you need help with the protective order, we also do criminal cases. We can provide information and referral as well as crisis intervention. We also do hospital accompaniment if someone needs to go for a forensic exam.
Right.
And we're part of the LAP, Lethality Assessment Program, with
Okay.
the police department, where if they get a victim of domestic violence, they ask them 11 questions. And it's based on the Maryland model, and it's supported by the Office of the Attorney General. It is a very reliable, based on your score, it will tell you how dangerous your situation is, from really being hurt to homicide.
Wow. So y'all are just a little bit busy.
Oh, and we do community outreach and education. So.
Absolutely, just like this. And I tell you, very busy. That is a lot of services. And the numbers that you said there earlier, was it 43 children?
46 children.
That was
in
the number
shelter.
that stood out to me, to think about all of the lives that these situations affect, and the good work that you all are doing. And you know, as a member of the board and as chairman, and I mean, I kind of opened this question up to both of you, but you listed a lot of services there. But what do you find that the clients that come here, what are they in most of need?
Support, relief, even if it's temporary, just to clear their head. A lot of times, if you have any type of trauma, those kinds of people they just don't have the capacity, because they're in that fight or flight mode, to
Right.
really make decisions that are helpful to them, because they're just trying to survive. So I think
Right.
initially it's support, it's an ear, it's some therapy, whatever they need in the short term, but the long-term goal for the organization is to eliminate the violence in our county. And so we do go the extra mile, like all the other programs that she was talking about, to help them, whether it's getting a job later or doing the more intensive things that they need to do to heal from that.
Right.
So, and I do want to give a shout out, because you guys mentioned the police department with the lethality assessment. We could not do what we do without the police department. So, woo woo, we're going to give you some props, and our schools. We work in our schools as well. So, really, what they need is just support, to know that. And we are so blessed in our county, such a small county, to have this organization that we've had for decades.
Yes.
And to be able to work with our community, work with our partners in the police departments or the schools, which we could not do without them. It's really just a blessing. It is a work of the heart.
Right.
And so that's what we provide. We provide what we need so that their hearts can begin to heal. And so I think that that's really important, because if the heart's not right, the rest of you is going to struggle. So we try to, get to the core of those things so that they can begin to do things for themselves to make their lives better.
That is very, very well put. Very well put. Now, you are somewhat new to this position, but not new to Page County and our situations here. Tell us a little bit, how long have you been here, and where were you before?
I've actually been here about almost 4 months.
Okay.
And in previous jobs, Page County was part of my territory in my long work history. So I do have some connections here. Luckily, we were able to bring Debbie Dart, the director that was here for 25 years,
Yes.
has joined our board of directors
Oh, wow.
as our treasurer.
Oh,
So,
wow, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
I'm very proud of being able to bring her back and her experience and expertise. But for the past 11 and a half years, I've been doing program coordination for domestic and sexual violence in Winchester, Clark, Frederick, and Warren County.
Now, you've been doing this long enough, I can ask, are you seeing any trends? Are we seeing about the same number of people who need help, less, more? Are the situations different or much the same? What trends are you seeing?
If you want to look perhaps at a historical, like during COVID, our numbers really went down during COVID because it was shelter in place and phone calls could not be made. They couldn't come to our location. Then it started trending back up. So even though you and I talked about this, even though the state of Virginia has received 54% funding cut from the federal VOCA dollars, over the last 6 years, we have still been providing about the same number of services to the same number of individuals.
Wow. Well, like everybody, trying to do more with
More with
less,
less.
right? Which really doesn't often work. You mentioned a number here you had in your notes about the federal cut. I would like you to share that a little bit.
Yes.
I think this would be a good point to bring that in.
From 2020 to 2026, our federal VOCA funds were cut 54% for the state of Virginia. That equals $13.5 million in losses to the domestic and sexual violence facilities in Virginia. And there's about 70, a little more than 70 of our agencies
So
throughout
that's a
Virginia.
statewide figure. Could you give a thumbnail sketch of what it meant to us locally? And is that over 6 years? That's over
yes.
6 years. Okay. But what did it mean in 6 years of losses here?
Well, I don't have all those figures, but I can tell you that in 2022, 6 weeks before the fiscal year started, we received a 60% reduction.
Now, does that mean you have to cut services or staff or what? Or shorter stays or?
It really depends. We call it maybe rearranging the chairs.
Okay.
That's how I'm able to add services. I'm not adding positions. I'm just changing what the positions are doing.
Right.
And so, luckily, I think that the same amount of services have been offered. In some, I can tell you in some areas of the state, yes, they lost their prevention dollars. Luckily, Choices gained prevention dollars during that time. That's how we're in the schools. That's how we do programs at CCLC and the Rec, Seventh-day Adventist Church schools. So it is constantly a struggle, and it's constantly a threat every year about funding cuts. But I don't believe this year we're going to be making any significant cuts. I informed Kelly there is a possibility that we may only get 11 months of our Department of Social Services funding, but luckily the board has been very proactive and has a contingency fund that will cover that.
And that's also why our fundraising is so important, because we depend on the community to help us provide these services. They're absolutely instrumental, and every little thing matters. It doesn't matter what you can contribute, whether it's your time, excuse me, or simple shampoo and
Hygiene
products,
sweatsuits
anything.
for men, women, and children, because we do serve men as well.
Right.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about what people in the community are gonna do a little bit, what they can do to help you here in this second segment, because I know there is a lot of stress and strain, not only with dealing with these very emotional situations that walk through the door, but also trying to struggle to figure out how we're going to make this funding stretch and how it's going to work. But it's all that stress and strain is worth it when you have those success stories to talk about. And we're going to talk about a success story in our second segment, as well as the third annual gala, Denim and Diamonds, happening Friday night on April 17th out at Big Oak Manor and Ranch. We're going to talk about all of that when we come back in just a moment after another word from our sponsor. At Luray Caverns, the Smithsonian Institution said, quote, "It is safe to say there is probably no other cave in the world more completely and profusely decorated than that of Luray. Come see Mother Nature showing off, only at Luray Caverns. Visit them online at luraycaverns.com to plan your trip today." Hi, everybody. Welcome back once again. Episode 112 of Page Valley Living. And today we're talking about Choices here in their Main Street office. We're with Lisa Herbaugh and Kelly Swartzlander. And we're going to talk now. We talked about some of the statistics and then some of these challenges and frustrations. Let's talk about having some fun at Denim and Diamonds. This is the third annual gala. And if I get a ticket, what all am I going to get for that ticket? What kind of experience are we going to have on Friday night, April 17th?
Well, first you're going to get me as your master of ceremonies.
There we
And
go.
There you
All
go,
right.
and that's where coming. No, I'm just teasing. So we're basically having an awesome dinner. We're going to have, which is Hank's Catering is our caterer.
Can't go wrong with
Yep.
that.
So we're gonna have a nice dinner for you. We have a DJ. I believe it's DJ Chuck that's gonna come out. So
DJ
there'll
Chuck,
be some
all right.
dancing. So for the ticket price, you're getting dinner, dancing, a night out at a beautiful venue. Jennifer at Big Oak Manor and Ranch is awesome. And we'll also have opportunities there for you to support us through the silent auction. We are still taking those donations for either goods or services, as if you want a tax deductible donation for that.
Do you have any like little special biggies that you might
Well,
want to tease?
Sure. Well, one of the
your
big
silent
ones
auctions?
is a weekend stay at the Manor at Big Oak Manor.
Oh, okay.
So
All right. That's
she
pretty
has been generous enough to offer that to us as one of our
It's a beautiful place.
one of our auction items. So yeah. So anything that you have, I don't care what it is. If you're a business, you can provide a service, an oil change, anything that people can use.
Right.
We're happy to receive that and pass that along to our supporters. So I do want to also give a big shout out to all of our sponsors. If you have a business and you wanted to sponsor, those sponsorships come with tickets. So you
Right.
could so you're getting a win-win. You're helping keep the community safe. You're getting a night out with your partner. Maybe you can give it to your employees as a bonus and
Right.
make it a team building event, something like that. And you get advertising. So, we're going to be honoring them there at the event, sending out Facebook notifications
okay,
for them. So it's a win-win. We support them, they support us, and really it's going to be a night of celebration. We're going to have drinks available out at our corn crib so that it's supposed to be a beautiful night right now. So we did have to reschedule the event from December when we had that big ice. So
That's
ice
right.
storm. So we're really happy that we're going to have some good weather.
From January.
January.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you want to just come out and have a good time and meet some great people, that's what you're going to get.
So we're going to have dancing, we're going to have music, we're going to have a silent auction, we're going to have Hank's, that right there alone should
The
bring
raffle.
in. There's going to be a raffle as well. What are they raffling
The
off?
raffle is for the weekend at Big Oak Manor.
Oh,
But we
okay,
also
okay.
have on the silent auction, we have tickets to Hershey Park
Oh, wow.
along with some Hershey's chocolate
Oh, my
as
gosh.
well.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We have gift baskets that can be used at the silent auction, as well as gift cards from local merchants that you can go get something at their establishment.
Well, how far along, how many tickets have we sold so far?
We're looking at around 70, 75. There's still room for more.
Okay.
They are.
Are you going to cap it at any point?
If you want tickets, you need to get them within the next day or two, couple days.
Oh, okay.
Because we have to report that to our caterer to make sure we have enough
Sure,
food. So if you want a
sure.
ticket, you need to get it now.
Let's tell them how to do that. How can
Yep,
they get a
you
ticket?
can go to our website, and we have our flyer on the website. It has a QR code there, and all you have to do is scan the QR code, and you can buy them digitally. If you do want to sponsor or do something with a bigger money value, you can bring in a check or call Lisa, and we're happy to work with you on whatever you want to give. So yeah,
And
But
you can walk in and get an actual physical ticket. We have
Right-
physical. Yeah,
right
you can
there.
walk right in
At the door.
2:30 at our office at 2:30 West Main
okay.
Street, and bring a check.
Okay, I
so
see.
there's no convenience charge on that.
Yeah.
Very good.
And we're here from 8 to 4:30 every day.
And now the ticket covers the meal. Is there going to be? Does it cover any drinks or anything?
no,
or-
the drinks, I believe they're like $5 each. They're reasonably priced, wine, beer,
Right,
something like
okay,
that. So
okay.
it just includes dinner and the dancing and the venue.
Very
And it's
good.
a beautiful
very good.
barn. And what I love about our event this year, so I just want to say this, somebody was asking us, why do we do Denim and Diamonds? Why is that our theme? We've had a couple of different themes in the past. We've had a masquerade ball, but we're really honoring our men this year because, feedback, our men don't typically like to do black tie events and have to get all dressed up. So they can wear jeans and boot scoot into spring, or the ladies can get full, evening gowns and go as
Yeah.
glitzy as they want. It's really up to you if you want to dress up or dress down and be comfortable. I mean, I've got some of my Elvis studded jeans on over here. So it's really just if you want to be comfortable, you can. If you want to get dressed up, you can.
Yeah, I
And
was noticing that where it said evening gown or dress down.
Yeah.
And that's going to be an interesting contrast. We'll see
Yeah.
how far each one takes the extreme on
I
each
think
side.
we're going to get a little bit of each because
Sure.
women can wear their denim and diamonds as
Sure.
well.
Sure.
And as we said earlier, now this is one of your biggest fundraisers of the year, and if I'm not mistaken, donations make up what, about 1/5 of your budget.
Probably closer to 15%. But
15, okay.
Yeah, but
okay.
yes,
But still a very important
very
part.
important, as
part.
important as our foundation grants are.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. All right, well, don't forget, folks, it's Friday night, April the 17th from 5 to 9 p.m. out at Big Oak Manor and Ranch out on Big Oak Road in Luray, and that is Denim and Diamonds, third annual gala for choices. And we're going to wrap up now talking a little bit. I have some journalism students over at GMU, and I always talk about them finding the why. Got to find the why in the story. So I'm going to start with you. And, we talked about the frustrations of funding, and obviously the stories that you all have heard that have come through this door, I'm sure have tugged at your heart more than once. Why volunteer your free time to put yourself through those struggles and those challenges to help this organization?
Sure. There's a few reasons. One of the reasons is that, evil to me cannot continue unless good people do nothing. And so working for a cause that is fighting the good fight and trying to help other people through their hard times is important to me. More of the why, there's two main reasons. One is personal, and that is that I have somebody that's very close to me and dear to me who got in an abusive relationship, and that person is a shell of who they used to be. And they are still in repeating abusive relationships. And to see somebody that you love that you can't reach because they are stuck in that pattern is heartbreaking, and it's devastating. And so if I can't help that person, I'm going to help as many people as I can that do have the strength to call someone and reach out and to be able to be sure that that person has a safe place to go. And then honestly, and I hate to say that this is the reality at least I have experienced, but I'm 60 years old, and as a woman, I don't think I know one woman that has not been affected by sexual abuse, violence, everybody has a story if you're a woman, and that to me is reason enough. It's such a systemic problem that I am not okay pretending it's not real or looking away. So for me, it's personal because there's people that I care about that have been devastated by it. And that to me is worth my time to just, if one person has some relief, I'm good with that. That is worth my time.
Wow.
So that's for me.
Well, I'll say from the community before we wrap up, thank you for volunteering and for your time. And I'm going to pose sort of a similar question here because I know you have a success story to talk about. And I know that the hours you put in, again, the stories you hear, probably hard sometimes not to take that home with you some days. So let's talk about why it's all worth it and this success story you want to share.
This is definitely the reason why we do what we do. We had a client enter our emergency shelter with 2 children after fleeing a long-term abusive partner. The client was subjected to physical violence, emotional control, and financial abuse. Upon intake, staff conducted safety and needs assessment, identifying trauma and housing instability. The client received crisis intervention, safety planning, case management, information and referral, license counseling, legal advocacy and accompaniment, assistance with employment, and housing services. Over several weeks, the client secured a job, obtained legal protection through a protective order, and improved her emotional stability while the children began adjusting by receiving counseling as well. Despite ongoing challenges such as fear of retaliation and navigating the legal system, the client successfully transitioned into safe, stable, affordable housing through our rapid rehousing program and continues with community-based services demonstrating increased independence.
Wow. And once again, I point out the the ripple effects on the children, the fact that you all
Yes.
help the children as well, and just doing wonderful, wonderful work here at Choices. From the whole community, thank you very much for what you all do here. I know it's your job, but a job like this goes way beyond the paycheck, way beyond.
And can I make one small more point
Absolutely,
to that?
absolutely.
One of the things when you were mentioning the funding cuts, I do not want to leave the interview without saying a huge thank you to the staff of Choices, because like she was saying, a lot of times, because if there are funding cuts, the people that do this kind of work, it is a matter of the heart for them. They will work overtime, they will do whatever they can in their power to help those people. And so our staff is crucial to us. We value them, we appreciate you guys, and we just want to thank you as well, because the type of person that would take this kind of role, they're not doing it for the paycheck. They're doing it because
Right.
there is something in their heart that makes them want to better the world. And so we are so grateful for our employees.
Absolutely.
I've often said that either you're in this field or you're not. There is
Right.
no in between. Either you make it your life's goal or you try it for a short period of time and it's too much and you got to go. And I'm okay with whichever person you are, because it is not for everyone.
Right. I'm sure burnout factor
Yes, it is.
is a big thing. Well, let's tell people out there how they can help. One way is you can go online. You can find these tickets online to the 3rd annual gala, Denim and Diamonds, once again happening Friday night, April 17th, 5 to 9 p.m. Tickets are still available. Got to get them in the next few days, though, folks. Urgency. You got to get out there and get them. You're going to have Hank's Catering. They're going to have dancing. They're going to have music. They're going to have the silent auction with some great prizes. And the big one is a stay at a Big Oak, right? They're going to raffle that off. So that's one way you can help. And really quick, as we close up, how else can they help? Are you looking for volunteers and things
We
like
can
that?
use volunteers. I do want to point out, though, that due to our funding and due to working with children, we have a very extensive training program.
Sure,
So
sure.
you're going to commit almost 40 hours of training
Okay.
before you can work with our clients, but we're happy to provide that.
Right.
We could also use less training, might be some child care. All we'd have to do is run a background check and give you
Right.
some pointers for like during our group activities, so parents can attend without having to figure out child care. The gala, we're using Community Works. I'm so thankful to Sarah and her group. They're sending 9 volunteers
Oh,
for the
wow.
gala.
Good, good,
Yep.
good.
Kudos.
And of course, you always accept checks.
Cash checks.
Any time of day.
Actually, one of the things I was talking with staff that we've never requested before that I've used in the past is we request Visa gift cards.
Okay.
Because our grantors will not pay for certain things for clients.
Okay.
And if a client needs something like paying their electric bill,
Right.
we can help them with a Visa gift card, because you can actually pay your electric bill with a
Right.
Visa gift card.
Sure.
Or I had a child in my past job that needed orthopedic shoes.
Yep.
I couldn't buy those for the child with grant funding, but someone had donated a $100 Visa gift card, and I
Okay.
bought the orthopedic shoes and had them delivered to her home.
Outstanding, outstanding.
You can also volunteer as a board member. So if that's something
Right. There you
that
go.
you're interested in, we are always taking names for that. And when we have openings, then we will, every year, we bring in new board members for people that want to step down. So if you want to be a board member, let us know that. We're recruiting right now, looking for a lawyer for another board member slot. So yeah,
Okay.
anything you can do to, know,
Right.
to help, we are open to that.
So don't forget, folks, you can volunteer to be a board member. You can maybe even volunteer your time. You can donate some money, and you can buy a ticket to the gala as well. Do all those things as well, because these ladies are doing wonderful, wonderful work. Lisa Herbaugh, thank you so much,
Thank you.
Executive Director of Choices, and Kelly Swartzlander, thank you very much,
Pleasure.
the Chair of the Board of Directors for Choices, a very worthwhile organization doing great work in our community. Please look at a way that you can help them. We want to thank you for joining us for episode 112 of Page Valley Living. If you liked our episode, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Page Valley News. We want to thank Eleanor Arrington for all of her work behind the camera and in the editing room this week. And as we end each and every episode, we want to remind you to go down to the Page County Animal Shelter and help one of our furry friends find a forever home. For Lisa Herbaugh and Kelly Swartzlander, I'm Randy Arrington from Choices here on Main Street in Luray, saying until next week, enjoy that Page Valley living.